trigger alert. This story time may trigger you. It may get you a bit upset. So if you're not mentally in the space to deal with something of this nature, just skip it. Come back to it. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kellys, and on the channel we talk about travel, adventures, the roller coaster events of moving from your home country. My family and I moved from Trinidad and Tobago to Canada 2.5 years ago, and since then has been an up and down roller coaster of events. Some really fun, some very disappointing, some very discouraging. And I've kind of grouped these events into these little episodes called story times, and y'all seem to be really enjoying them. So I'm really excited about that. Today we're gonna have a story time which was chosen by a poll I did on Instagram. If you haven't already, go follow me over on Instagram. And this story time is titled "She Called My Children What?" So trigger alert, this story time may trigger you. It may get you a bit upset. Come back to it later when you feel a little better, all right? I'll totally understand. As well, the story time has a lot of different moving compartments. I'm just going to tell the story up front, and then we're going to have a little discussion about it after, like from a different perspective, different ideas that I have about this story time as well. So let me dive right into it. This story takes place about 2.5 months after we landed. So at this point in time, my husband got a job that required him to work out of town. So he was only in town in the city of Calgary where we lived at the time, probably like 1 or 2 days out of the week. So I was on my own. I was on my own with these 2 young kids. My son was 1 at the time, my daughter was 3. I was working full-time as well. And previous to this, I had gotten in trouble with the police because I was driving, unknown to me. I was driving on a license that did not allow me to drive independently. So they had gave me this warning stating that I couldn't drive without having a fully licensed person in the vehicle with me. If you want to know more about that, I did a story time on that whole thing. So in the process of me changing over my license from a Trinidad and Tobago license to an Alberta license, there was this gap of period where I was waiting to do my driving exam. And at the time they had like this huge backlog. So I couldn't even get a driving exam, probably like it took me 2 months to get a driving exam. So this is 2 months of me not being able to drive. And I have 2 young kids and trying to transit to and from work. So you all could imagine being in a new country, having all these new responsibilities. I'm now technically a single parent for most of the week until my husband comes home. I'm in a new job, the kids in a new daycare, everything is just new. And we're still trying to figure out like how to get like groceries and stuff without having a vehicle, right? We're still trying to figure it out. For those of you who don't know, we moved to Canada without having any friends or family here. We didn't even have a credit card when we first landed. We were like really shocked. We were unprepared. We were like culture shocked, like what's going on here. So it was like a crash course entry into our life in Canada. Our first 3 months was like just full of surprises, right? So this is where we are. This is the point in time where we are. We're still in the middle of all of this chaos. We're still trying to get adjusted. We're still trying to like gauge everything and see what we're doing with our lives, right? So I have to now walk my kids to and from daycare before trying to figure out a way to get to work every single day, right? Prior to this, I did another story time as well on the fact that we got all of our furniture for free. This church had actually given us all our furniture, and I actually did a story time based on this. I get teary-eyed just thinking about it because it was the most humbling experience I've had in my life to date. Yeah, I could probably think of only like 3 other experiences I've had that really like made me see the genuine goodness in humanity. So this church had given us everything in our house: beds, a dining room set, wares, TV, a TV stand, lamp, and toys for the kids. All right, so this is where the story starts. The church had given us toys for the kids, and we were so appreciative because, as you can imagine, we had to leave all of the kids' toys and everything that we had accumulated for them. Most of it, we left it in Trinidad when we migrated. So to get these toys, it was really nice. It made the kids feel welcomed, right? So it was good, everything was good. In this whole batch of toys, because it was a lot of toys, had these two teddy monkeys. Now at the time, and I'm sure y'all could guess where this is going. At the time, I didn't think anything much of it. And I guess it's probably just, I don't want to say lack of intuition, but at the time, I should have, like, I blame myself partially for this. I should have seen those two monkeys and say, hey, that's cute. But no, you're not going to go out in public with this, for reasons we will discuss later, right? So the kids loved the monkeys. At the time, I didn't think anything of it. The people who we interacted with, who brought them to us, they were Black. So, like, it didn't click a bell that these two monkeys could potentially cause some conversations to happen that would be inappropriate, right? It didn't click. It did not click. So the kids loved the monkeys. They carried them everywhere they went, and I thought it was cute. They loved them. It was two monkeys. Each one of them had one, right? So I now have to always carry them to daycare. So every single day they're in daycare. Everything is good. My kids seem to really like the daycare. It was a brand new daycare that opened within walking distance of us. And they were actually the first set of kids to be in the daycare. So this is a brand spanking new daycare, new teachers, new everyone, new owner, new space, new everything. So they were really happy that they came and registered, because I'm like the first parent registering my kids to come to their school. So they're super happy. The kids have like one-on-one attention. My children love it. The facility is nice. Like, I did the full tour, met the owners. Everything seems really good and legitimate. Every day when my kids come home from school, they only have good things to say. They are happy, right? And I'm happy that they are happy, because I don't know if y'all can imagine, but like rooting up kids from everything they know to be familiar and then rooting them and placing them into everything that is unfamiliar could be really traumatic for kids. So I'm just happy that at this point in time, no matter what's going on with my husband and I, all the chaos that we are going through, my kids seem to be adjusting really well. They seem to be happy. They're sleeping well. Everything is good with them. So I'm happy because of that. So one afternoon, one very beautiful afternoon, I go to pick up my kids from daycare. So the teacher brings them out, and about this teacher, and now I'm gonna get asked this in the comments about this teacher. I'm not gonna say what race she is, but I'm just gonna mention that she's not Black, right? She's not Black, right? So she brings the kids out, and we were just chatting, talking about like what they did for the day and whatnot. And she's like, yeah, they're so cute. They're like two little monkeys. Now tell me in the comments below how you all would have reacted to that statement. My two beautiful melanated children, she said that they're so cute. They're like two little monkeys. I'm like, okay. So I need to explain something to you. I'll give you all some more information about myself. I am not the type of person that is very knee-jerk reaction. Like, I'm the type of person that will come and tell you, hey, you see that thing you said 1 week ago? I was offended by it. Like, I'm not the type of person to like just react on the spot. I don't get offended easily, but if you do offend me, you will know, but it won't be right away. Like, I need to internalize things. I need to think about it, make sure that my reaction is suited or as a reasonable response to it. Like, sometimes when I even go back and I reflect on things, I choose not to react at all, because you give yourself time to just accumulate and let information set. So in the moment, I just took note of it. I shook my head. I didn't say anything. And that was the end of the conversation, obviously, because I am through the roof pissed. So I just ended the conversation abruptly and went and took my kids away and whatnot. And when we got home that afternoon, as soon as those kids went to sleep, those teddies went in the bin. Like, that was the end of the teddies. I was like, no more teddies. As soon as they went to sleep, I threw those suckers in the bin. That was it. The kids, they didn't even miss them, because I mean, out of sight, out of mind, right? It was like, I think they asked them a couple times. I'm like, well, I don't know where the teddies are. You must have lost them, right? The teddies were just no more. They were gone. So following that, I was telling my husband about it, and I was just generally thinking about it. I'm like, did this woman really know what she was saying? So I had to consider a couple of things. Does she know that it's offensive? Because to me, if you really know that it's offensive, you probably would say it behind closed doors. You would say it with some other people who, it won't offend, but you definitely won't come to tell me that my two kids are like two monkeys. Like I would like to think that you didn't know, right? I would like to give you the benefit of the doubt that you don't know that what you're saying is extremely offensive, right? Can't make any excuses for it. The only legitimate excuse for her being able to say that without being completely racist is that she just did not know that it is offensive to call black people monkeys, right? So I thought about it. Now, it's so interesting that within this week, I actually got a job offer that required me to move out of Calgary altogether and to move to the small town of Claresholm, which is like about 3 hours away from Calgary. So within this week, we had a lot going on, and we were actually considering possibly uprooting our whole family, everything, trying to end our lease, break our lease, and like move out of the city altogether. So we had a lot of moving parts happening within this week. We had a lot of shit in our lives. We were going through a lot, right? So even though this situation was very disturbing, it wasn't at the forefront of everything else that was happening in my life. In addition to that, what I started to do was I listened out. I was like being really attentive with my kids, asking them more detailed questions about the experiences in school. And by all accounts, my kids seem pretty safe. They loved their teacher. Their teacher was really nice. They had nothing negative to say. And my daughter's pretty talkative and very expressive with her emotions. So I am thinking that, okay, if there was any ill intention there, that I could potentially like scope it out with my kids. So all of this is happening at the same time. So this is not really to the forefront of my brain. So I started listening out for my kids. I'm listening to see if anything is happening with them. Like I want to know if they're experiencing any kind of racism in their school, right? Clearly, I want to know because of this statement that this teacher made. But by all accounts, it seems like if everything is okay, hunky-dory in school, everybody is happy, my kids are happy, everything continues to be very happy. The teacher is very polite to me whenever I meet her. She is, for the most part, very polite, besides this one statement that she made that made all of my antennas go right up. All of my antennas like, beep, 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 beep. What is wrong with you? Are you a racist? Are you a racist? Right? So, oh my God, this story just goes downhill from here. So, I don't know. Tell me in the comments below, how would you have reacted if someone said that to you? I feel like if, as black people, and not just black people, black women, we have all of these stigmas that we constantly have to operate in, like all of these stigmas that we constantly have to be wary of. It's like, what is the right level of anger to react? Because, they have this angry black woman stigma that we always have to be wary of. You don't want to overreact because you fall into that category, or you don't want to underreact either because it's definitely something you need to stand up for yourself as a mother. We're very protective, but at the same time, it's like, what level of reaction? And there's a reason why I'm very slow to react as well. It's because within that split second of me telling her what she said and how offensive it is, there was only a split second for her to react with the correct level of genuine shock and regret. And if within that very split second she didn't react in a way that would make me feel like she genuinely did not know and that she genuinely regrets having said something so offensive, it would have gone downhill from there. Like, if she didn't react, if she didn't come right within that time of me telling her, it would have there was no way for it to go uphill. There was no way. It would have just gone downhill. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's when I'm in a new environment. I have no friends, no family. Engaging it now is like, don't test me. Please don't test me. Not to mention, I have a job. If I lose childcare, I also lose my job automatically. It's like, I really don't wanna go down this road with you, but if you keep testing me, if you keep testing me, we're gonna have to go down this road, right? So this is the mind space that I'm in right now. So within this week, my husband and I, we decided, you know what, the position that I got the job offer for was mid-level management. So I went from survival job, which was in the department store, to entry-level job, which was as a food quality control technician, to mid-level management as a quality coordinator for a company. So I'm like, you know what, this is a good move. Let me consider actually making the move from Calgary to Claire's home and taking this job, because it seems like a nice progressive move to make. And we don't have any ties to Calgary anyway at that point in time, in no one really. So making the move just seemed like the most natural thing to do. So within this week, my husband and I decided, you know what, we're gonna accept this job. We're gonna make the move from Calgary to Claire's home, and we're gonna make it work. So this kind of like concluded this topic for me in my mind, because even if there was ill intention there, we going anyhow. So it's like, I don't have to deal with you anymore. Hopefully this topic doesn't come up again. And this way I don't have to lose my Jesus going down that road with you, because I don't want to have to deal with it. Like, there's so much I have to deal with already. I don't want to have to deal with it. I don't know about y'all, but I am still kind of recovering from George Floyd, like mentally, physically, the trauma of it all. And like, yes, addressing these topics necessary. If she didn't know, it definitely would have been a learning moment for her to know never ever to say that again ever to anyone of color. But also, at what expense would it have come to me to have to deal with all of that? You know, it's like mental trauma to me as well, to have to deal with you and teach you in this teachable moment. Yes, someone is learning, but it's also at my expense of having to go through this emotional trauma, having to explain all this shit to you that you should already know, woman. You should already know. And if in that moment you see like any ignorant shit, it's just gonna go downhill from there, right? So let me know down in the comments, what would you have done? It's an interesting one. What would you have done? Because I spoke to a couple of friends about it after the whole incident happened, and I got a lot of varying responses. So let me know down in the comment, what would you have done? So flash forward, we have told them now that we are moving. We took the kids out of school. Well, we have an end date to take the kids out of school, and this is like the last week now where we are wrapping up things. We're like trying to get things together to move, but they're still in daycare because we have stuff to do, right? So they threw this nice little party for them in school, like a going away party, which was really nice. And they like made a book of memories for them. They had cake. It was really nice. Like, the people in the daycare, besides that one statement, treated the kids really nice. And on the last day of daycare, I was having a general conversation with the same teacher, and she's like, oh my god, I'm gonna miss my little monkeys. Why couldn't she let me have peace? Why couldn't this woman let me have peace? Now, I know at this point in time, I should have said something. I know at this point. Because it's the second time it's happening. I already mentally went through it in my mind. And I know, okay, this could, if she doesn't know, she should know. And if she did know, somebody should definitely pull her up on it. But I was just so over it, and I just didn't want to go down that road. I couldn't deal with the additional stress of having this conversation with her. And so I just let it slide. I was just like, you know what? Good riddance. Good riddance to you. Thankfully, we never have to see you again. And someone else is going to probably cuss you out for using that term. But it won't be me, because I want to protect my peace. Right? So, guys, that's the end of the story time there. I don't know. This was an interesting one. I'd love to hear your comments. I'd love to hear what you all have to say about this story time, because it's just unfortunate. Like, as Black people, we go through the world with our antennas up. Like, we're constantly in defensive mode, right? Like, constantly, like, feeling like we're bombarded with all of these different messages that have subliminal messages that are implied guilt, aggressiveness. Like, we bombarded with all of these different stigmas, and we constantly, like, I don't know, I feel like I constantly am like defending against these stigmas, and it makes I don't know, I feel like if it's tiring. It's tiring having to be defensive, constantly in defense mode. But unfortunately, in this world that we live in, it's also very necessary to always have a guard up, especially when you're a mother. Especially when you're a mother, right? Because my kids, it's a topic that I would love to address more, but like, how much do you really let your kids know about this issue of race? I don't want them to be plagued with all of these different feelings and all of these different negative emotions at such a young age. I don't want that to shape their reality. You know what I mean? I want them to just be able to be kids and to love life. And it's not like I didn't grow up in a multicultural country. Trinidad because it's very multicultural. We literally celebrate Christmas, Diwali, and Eid al-Fitr actively. Right? So I grew up in a very multicultural country. But just like being a new immigrant in a new space, now being a minority, it was definitely a learning experience for me. And one that I still haven't completely wrapped my mind around. Because if it faced with the same challenge, I don't know if I would have reacted differently. You know what I mean? Because I'm personally very slow to react to things. And then secondly, I always gauge things based on how is this going to really disrupt my peace? Like, I have things to focus on and I don't want anything disrupting what I need to do. You know what I mean? Let me know if y'all could relate. Let me know if y'all would have handled it differently. Let me know down in the comments, because this was a hot and spicy story time. Guys, so on a good note, by tomorrow I'm actually gonna go pick up my son, my brother, from the airport. He is coming to live in Canada, and he's actually going to be the person renting the rental property my husband and I just purchased. So we're super excited about that. By the time y'all see this video, you'll have already known that it was him. And yeah, we're just super excited. So right now my mother's upstairs preparing everything for him. Because my mother and my brother like ring and finger, you know, sons and their mothers, don't get between them. But yeah, we're just in a good space now. We feel so much more comfortable now compared to like when we first landed. Within that first 3 months, it was almost like feeling like an intruder in your own space. Like you're afraid to venture out because you might get stranded. You're afraid to do something wrong because you don't necessarily know the rules. You're afraid to offend someone because culturally things are different, right? And it's like everything you do, you're like stuttering, thinking, okay, is this the right thing to do? Should I be there? And I'm still trying to figure out all of these different things. It was really a hectic mental space to be in. And compared to that, how we are now, I feel so much more relaxed, more comfortable. We purchased our own house. I feel more, it's like, okay, it's me. I don't share walls with anyone. I'm in my own space. I'm doing me. This is me. This is mine. I'm doing me. I feel 100 times more comfortable. So I don't know if that's like a happy note at the end of this very controversial story time. But I will say that if you're worried about just being the odd one out, and being discriminated against or being singled out for being different, just know that Canada is very diverse. First of all, there are many immigrants. Many people from all over the world here. And secondly, even if you do feel like the odd one out or imposter syndrome starts to take place, just know that it gets better with time. Right? With time, you get more comfortable, you get more confident, you get more in tune with your surroundings, and it actually starts to feel like home. It actually starts to feel like home. There is a silver lining at the end of that very big cloud. It still starts to feel like home, and I could honestly say that now Canada is my home. I feel at home. All right, so a little silver lining at the end there. But guys, don't forget, hit me down in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know how you would have reacted, if you would have reacted differently. And yeah, have an amazing day. Remember, the journey is the prize. Bye.